This is a dish that I call Chinese sticky chicken. I think that if you're a lover of chicken, you know that the best part are the thighs. And in here we have bone-in and skin-on chicken thighs. And I think what makes it the best is, you know, or what makes the thighs the best is that they have a great marbling of fat in them, and they're very forgiving. If you cook them over a low temperature for a long period of time, they just fall apart. It's like you can't feed them, or you know, they got a lot to give. So this recipe, these thighs are marinated in a sweet teriyaki sauce, and we also have a spice mix that is Chinese 5-spice, which is a mixture of anise, star anise, cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. There's also a little bit of garam masala in here, a little bit of curry powder, a little bit of onion powder, and some lemon pepper powder. So we're going to marinate them in this mixture. Marinate them usually for, you know, at least 4 hours. And then we're going to roast them in a very slow oven, about 280 degrees, for about 2.5 hours, 2¾ hours. And then we're going to make a sauce that's a little bit of the teriyaki sauce, the sweet teriyaki sauce, a little bit of chicken stock, and some brown butter, and a tablespoon of peanut butter. And I guarantee you, this is the showstopper when you put it on the table. Everybody and anybody will be asking, how did you make it? How did you make it? It's that freaking good. So here we go. So first we're gonna pour in our teriyaki sauce. We're going to sprinkle over half of the spice mix. And then you got to get your hands dirty. So it's good to have some gloves on hand, because this, like I said, gets a little messy. So I always put a little bit of foil on a baking tray when I'm making this, because as the teriyaki kind of reduces, or you know, when it's in the oven a while, it gets really sticky, and it can be really difficult to get off a baking tray. So let's give this a good mix. Okay, so this is all mixed. We're all good to go. The marinade is absolutely everywhere. We'll stick it in the fridge for at least 4 hours. If you can go longer, go longer. And yeah, let's do that. Let's put that in the fridge right now. Okay. Alrighty, we're good to go here. So, oven is preheated to 280 degrees. We're just going to lay these out in a single layer. You want to get the skin side up for sure. A lot of that will render out and should crisp up as it cooks. And you can be generous with these. I would say at least 2 thighs per person, because there's not a tremendous amount of meat on them, but I know it seems like a lot, but these are perfect for well, for any occasion. Once you do it in advance, like I said, you can put them in the oven. They take about 2.5 hours. So even if you go a half an hour, I found that even if you were to go a half an hour over, they're still outrageous, because they're on the bone and they have the skin on them. They'll let you get away with a lot. You can have that second martini and nothing will happen. You'll still be a rock star. Okay, so room for one more. So we're going to put the rest of the spice mix on, and I think the reason why this is so popular, or why it's so good, is it's that sweet and salty thing. It's got that sweet and salty thing going on, and it's just, you know, I think that deep down, that's what everybody, you know, a lot of people gravitate towards those flavors, that yin and the yang. So, and the sauce, like I said, has got that little bit of brown butter, a little peanut butter, and a little bit of the teriyaki and some chicken stock, and poured all over it. This is incredible. So we're gonna put this in the oven right now. You're gonna put it in for about an hour, then we're gonna cover it with foil for probably about 45 minutes, and then take the foil off for like the last hour, just so it'll give the skin and that a chance to crisp up. In you go. So our sauce for the sticky chicken is a brown butter, peanut butter, and teriyaki sauce. So in the saucepan right here, you want to put, I would say, probably about 3/4 of a stick of butter. You want to put it over a low heat and let the butter toast and let it brown. And the butter, as you can see, takes on a completely different flavor. You've toasted the butter, and all the fat solids that are in it are now lightly brown and caramelized. It's going to give the sauce a completely different color. We're going to add a little bit of chicken stock right there. We're going to add some of our leftover teriyaki sauce, and we're just going to bring this up to a simmer. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter, and then we're just going to blend it, and that's going to be the sauce for the chicken. So we're going to take the sauce that we have, the butter, the teriyaki, and the chicken sauce, or the chicken stock, bring it up to a simmer, and pour it into a container. I'm going to use our blender, our Jimmy, and we're going to puree it for a little bit. I just want to add a little side note about teriyaki sauce. A little bit goes a long way. Some brands are stronger than others as far as their content of salt. So just find one that you like. You can always dilute it a little bit with some water, but you don't want to necessarily substitute it with a hoisin sauce or a Korean barbecue sauce, because they're very, very intense. So some kind of mild teriyaki sauce would work well. And taste it. If you think it's too salty, then like I said, just add a little bit of water and dilute it a little bit. So to this mixture right here, we're going to add a little bit of peanut butter. And we're just going to puree this and emulsify it. There we go. Now, if your teriyaki sauce is also a little bit sweet, you can always add a squeeze of lime juice to this, and it'll be perfect. Or you can just serve some limes on the side. So we'll pour this back into the saucepan, keep it warm. We'll check in our chicken, which I think is just about done. When we put the chicken on the platter and we pour the sauce over it, we're going to garnish it with some sprigs of cilantro, some sesame seeds, and some limes. Look at that. Chicken is done. I'll take a couple of paper towels just to drain it a little bit. So, here we go. Look at that. And if I tell you that your house is going to have, everybody's going to walk in and be like, what in God's name is that? Sticky chicken. Now, a couple of pieces of lime, some cilantro, and last, how easy was that? I mean, come on.